Hi, this is a video about Mr. Thomas Markle, Meghan Markle's dad. Poor old guy, he's, aging, and he denies he's an excessive drinker, but he certainly looks like he was an excessive drinker, and there are stories out there that he used to engage in the Hollywood parties, which included drugs and so forth, when he was working on those Hollywood sets. But I don't know anything about this man, but clearly he is old. He doesn't have full control of himself. He has a lot of anger and rage, and the media is really taking advantage of this old guy. Here they got him set up with those two Hollywood statues and behind his head that he won for lighting at some time during his career. And that's to give him some authenticity. But, his mind is clearly going, and they set him up to say negative things about Meghan and Harry. He hopes this is going to bring them to him and try to get him to stop talking. But what he's really doing, he's making them go further and further from him and making it less and less likely that he is going to see his grandchildren. And it's very, very sad. It's very sad. So I'm going to play this to show the abuse that's going on. This is senior abuse. It happens commonly with all seniors. Thomas Markle is just in a more prominent position, but every senior gets this kind of poor treatment if they have something somebody wants, and they can get isolated and they can get abused. You always need a guardian or somebody to monitor what's going on and make sure they're not making their lives more miserable and they're getting further and further away from their goals. In this case, Thomas Markle wants to be included in the lives of Meghan and Harry. But as I see it, making statements against Meghan and making such grand statements against Harry, her husband, is only going to keep him further from his goals in the future, and makes it more likely that he'll never, ever have a great meeting with Meghan, Harry, or their kids. So I'm going to play this, and you can see how this news person in Great Britain is egging him on.
To deny the Queen the opportunity to meet Lilibet, your granddaughter, who he named after the Queen.
I think it's the cruelest, meanest thing he can do. And I have no respect for this man at all. To not go and honor his grandfather, then not go to the Jubilee, to deny the children to the Queen, it's unforgivable. You should and to complain about security is crazy. There'll be tons of security around there.
Now, Thomas Markle has no idea of anything about security, what's required. Harry grew up with a security team ever since he came out of the womb, and so he knows what he needs and feels comfortable with, and no one can tell Harry what kind of security he needs or what kind of security is adequate. So for Thomas Markle to make these statements is really ridiculous, and it just shows he's way out of line for speaking about Harry and his security requirements in the United States or in his home country of England or anywhere else.
He's just making up excuses. This is crazy. Then the other thing is he's going to the Invictus Games.
Yes.
Well, the Invictus Games were started by Harry. It's one of his pet projects. He doesn't want to give up all of his connections with his home country, and he wants to go to the Invictus Games. Plus, by being behind the Invictus Games, he can hire security for the games and for himself during the games. So he's not going to be there as just a regular participant. He's going to be there as the originator of the games, and he will have his own security team paid by him at the games. So Thomas Markle knows nothing about the Invictus Games.
Just a couple of weeks later.
Which really, yeah. I mean, this has to hurt the Queen, you know, and she's been through so much.
Now, the Queen was called a number of names by Thomas Markle when he found out Meghan was getting into the royal family. He spoke against the Queen. He spoke against the royal family in general and the whole royal system of England. And so now he's trying to play, he's very sympathetic and loving to the Queen. This is all a 180-degree about-face.
And she lost her husband, and she lost Harry, and he won't come back. And
so this reminds Mr. Markle that he's lost Meghan, and they're not coming back.
You know, he's acting like a child. I have no.
You never ever talk about your relatives, your in-laws like that. You never call them a child when they're adult, making adult decisions.
Respect for him at all.
And then he says he has no respect for Harry at all. And of course, that just kind of puts the cap on the bottle, and it means that he is closing off totally his future connection with Harry and Meghan. Nobody wants to have a meeting with somebody that has no respect for you at all, because you will have no sense of security with that person because they have no respect for you and they have no idea of what they're talking about.
I understand that. The other big piece...
I make jokes about him because...
You go, Tom.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I make jokes about him to try to get his attention and try to get them to come after me, because I never get to speak to them.